July 2026. Right now, someone is breaking into ServiceNow instances with zero login, no username, no password, just a crafted request. And here's the part that made this worth an episode. The way they're actually doing it isn't the way the researchers who found the bug showed the world. Let's separate confirmed from claimed. ServiceNow runs the back office for a massive share of the Fortune 500, IT service management, HR, customer service, and it's increasingly the platform companies plug their AI agents into. A critical bug here isn't one company got popped. It's every company running on top of it. CVSS 95, pre-authentication, remote code execution. That's about as bad as this rating system goes. Point 1 of 5, what actually happened? Some pre-authentication pages in ServiceNow's AI platform passed user control input straight into the glide record query API, the thing that reads and writes platform data. A specially crafted query value triggers JavaScript evaluation before the query even runs, sidestepping the sandbox's normal blocks on eval, dynamic functions, and sensitive Java classes. The actual escape hatch is a function called gs.include. It loads script libraries in a less restricted execution context than the main sandbox. Manipulate the right global objects and properties, and you get attacker-controlled code compiled and executed completely outside the stricter sandbox. From there, internal APIs with far fewer restrictions. Database access. Okay. Actions. Even reaching ServiceNow's MID server, which is a customer's own bridge into their internal network. The vulnerable endpoint, assessment_thanks.do, no login required to hit it. Timeline, Searchlight Cyber found and reported this April 1st, 2026. ServiceNow patched its own hosted instances the very next day. Self-hosted customers didn't get patches until a wave of releases spread across June. The full technical write-up went public July 13th. Point 205. Is this actually being exploited? Or is it researchers poking at it? Threat intel firm Defused says they observed live payloads hitting that same endpoint July 18th and 19th, just days after the public write-up dropped. Here's the twist. The wild payloads reached the same code execution result through a different sandbox escape gadget than the one in the published proof of concept. Same door, different lockpick. ServiceNow's own statement, quote, "We have not observed evidence that this activity is related to instances that ServiceNow hosts," end quote. Translation, if you self-host, you're the exposed population, not their cloud customers. And here's what makes people hesitate to call this a full-blown attack campaign. ServiceNow vulnerabilities are rarely exploited in the wild at all. Before this, only 2 ServiceNow CVEs had ever landed in CISA's known exploited vulnerabilities catalog, both from 2024. Confirmed, pre-auth payloads hitting the vulnerable endpoint live this week. Unconfirmed, who's behind it? A real threat actor running a campaign, or security researchers scanning without asking first. Point 3 of 5. Is any of this actually new? Sandbox escapes and enterprise low-code platforms aren't new, they've existed for years. What's new is the stakes. ServiceNow rebranded and expanded into embedding AI agents directly into these same scripting engines. So the exact same sandbox that used to just run workflow automation now also runs AI agent logic, which means a sandbox escape today reaches further than it would have 2 years ago. The bug is old school. The blast radius is AI-shaped. Point 4 of 5, 2026 is wider pattern. ServiceNow isn't alone this window. SharePoint Server, CVE-2026-6875, a deserialization RCE, CVSS 9.8, the third SharePoint 0-day in a series. Watchtower found attackers using it to steal machine keys for long-term persistence. Langflow, an AI agent orchestration tool, had an IDOR plus RCE chain now sitting in CIS's KEV catalog. Sysdig traced an attacker, using it to steal LLM and AWS keys straight out of other users' workflows. The pattern, critical RCEs keep landing specifically in the platforms companies are pointing their new AI workflows at. Old attack surface your servers, new attack surface, whatever platform is hosting your AI agents. Point 5 of 5, why this keeps slipping through. ServiceNow ships patches across a sprawling matrix of parallel version branches, Brazil EANGA, Australia patch 2, Zurich patch 7b and 9, Yokohama patch 12 hotfix 1b and patch 13. For self-hosted customers, a patch exists and we've actually applied it at 2 very different states. That gap, April to June, roughly 2 months, is exactly the window threat actors live in. So what actually fixes this? ServiceNow's year fix, a new feature called guarded script, which further restricts what code is allowed to run inside sandbox contexts, specifically closing off this class of gs.include style escape. If you run ServiceNow self-hosted, patch now, across every affected branch, audit any custom code that passes user-controlled input into glide record queries. Lock down and monitor MID server exposure, that's the pivot point into your internal network. And read no confirmed impact to ServiceNow, hosted instances as ServiceNow's claim about their side, not a blanket all clear for yours. Taking a recap, a single scripting context loophole let a stranger with zero login execute code on ServiceNow's own AI platform. It's live right now, but who's actually behind it is still unconfirmed. And it's not isolated. SharePoint and Langflow saw their own critical bugs in this same window. The pattern to watch, whatever platform you plug your AI agents into, just became your highest value target. I'll keep tracking this story as it develops. Exploit Wire. Subscribe for the update when it lands.